This conference will now be recorded.
Yeah, in today's session, we're going to discuss about the memoization. Memoization, nothing but it's a memorandum. It's going to remember your past values in the memory. Okay. Mostly, if you are using any recursion in your program, then you can able to use this memoization. Recursion is nothing but it will call the function again and again until some specific condition is satisfied. You call the function call the same function again and again. That is nothing but recursion. You can use this memoization in Fibonacci series as factorial number as well as which wherever you are using recursion, you're calling the function again and again. Then you can use memoization. For example, if you are finding the factorial of number of 5 factorial, it's going to calculate the results for 5 factorial, 4 factorial and 3 factorial. It's going to store all the results in the dictionary in terms of key and value pairs. If you are calling the factorial of 4, it won't come to the computation. It will take directly results from the memory. Directly will take the results from the memory. Now, if you see here, they are used the Fibonacci series. In the Fibonacci series, they are using catch is on variable. They're using as a dictionary. It's a empty dictionary. If you are giving Fibonacci of 5, what will happen? First, it will check whether the number is present in catchy or not. Catchy means it is like a dictionary. If it is not present, if it is not present, then we check for the if condition. If the n value is 0 or 1, it's going to give the result as whatever value given n value is 5 means it's going to give the result as 5, or else it's going to calculate all the Fibonacci series and then it's going to store the results in the catchy. Next time we will call the Fibonacci series of 5, what will happen? Again we're going to check the value in catchy. If it present the catchy, it's going to take the value from the catchy. Okay, catch. It's going to key value. Once it pass the key value, it's going to check in the dictionary and then it's going to give the corresponding value. This is how memoization works. If you're calling the same function again and again, first time the function will do the computation, the next function won't do any computation. From the catch, it will take the result. That is nothing but yeah, memoization. Using chat GPT, I have generated this kind of results. You going at the time of first computation, you're going to store the results in your cache memory. When you call the same function again, you won't do the computation. Directly going to take the results from the cache itself memory. Okay, now they have said like how you can use implement this memoization using decorators, or you can use in dictionaries, or you can use in class. Yesterday, I have used function. I have used function and then I shown the implement of memoization using decorators. Today, what I'm going to do, I'm going to implement the memoization functionality in one of my function using a class. Using a class. We're going to implement the memoization using a class. We're going to see. Now I'm going to have one more py file. The directory is decorators. I'm going to keep the py file name as 11 decorators underscore 11 decorators underscore 11. You can close other tabs. You can maximize it. Now implement memoization in class. Implement memoization 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 using class. Yesterday we have seen how to implement memoization using functions. You can see here I took the factorial number and then I passed this function to my decorator function. my decorator function is memoize factorial, and then I'm passing my function as an argument to the memoize factorial method, and then I am storing the results in my memory. Now, this is a function level. I'm going to show how to implement the memoization using class. Now, I'm going to have same stuff, factor number. I'm going to use a factor number, and then how to implement in a class. I'm going to show. Now, I'm going to have the class called class memoize. I keep it class name like this because I'm going to implement memoization, right? Class memoize. I'm going to have one constructor. I'm going to use magic methods. Okay, the first argument will be a instance, and then I'm going to have, function. Okay, and then I'm going to have self dot function equal to function. See, this function is nothing but a argument. This self dot function is a variable actually. Okay, self is nothing but class instance. This func is nothing but variable. You can keep some other names as well. See, you can keep func under one. You can keep any name, but for read today I'm keeping like this: self dot func equal to func, and then I'm going to have one more variable. I'm going to have memory. I'm going to have one empty dictionary. This variable memory is a variable actually. Okay, memory is a variable. It's going to hold a empty dictionary. Now I'm going to have one more method. Okay, I'm going to have decorator function. Okay, but here I'm not going to use any function as of now. What I'm going to do, I'm going to implement function using class. For that, I'm going to use a call method. I'm going to use a call method. In the call method, you can pass non-keyword arguments as well as keyword arguments. But for my factorial number, I want to pass only the non-keyword arguments. I'll come to this point later. What's the use of call? Okay, it's one of the built-in function call. I'll come to the later. I'll discuss these things in later. Keep in mind, like you have to going to pass arguments. It's a non-keyword arguments to your for your factorial of number, and then you're going to check if condition. If not arguments in self dot memory, what are the arguments I'm putting, right? For factorial, what will put? 5 factorial will put. I'll pass the value as 5. Okay. If 5 is not present in memory, what I have to do? I have to do the computation. If the instead of arguments are going to pass 5, if 5 is not present in memory, then I want to do the computation. Let's see what I'm trying to do here is self dot memory. Okay, self dot memory equal to self dot memory, and then I'm going to pass the arguments equal to self dot function. Self dot function. Sorry, self dot function. I'm going to pass the keyword arguments. See, now what I'm going to do, I'm going to pass the value 5. You're going to check 5 is present in memory or not. As of now, memory is nothing is present, right? Now, what I'm going to do, I'm going to call one function that is my existing object actually. In that object, I'm going to pass arguments values 5. After computing the results, I going to store in memory. The key value will be 5. Key value will be 5. Going to have like going to pass one argument is 5. Substitute wherever getting arguments, right? Substitute 5. 5 is not present in memory. And then you're going to call a function. In function, you're going to pass the argument as 5. Okay. It's a non-curated arguments. Okay, non-curated arguments, you can pass any values. Like you can pass it like a list. You can pass it like a individual number. You can pass anything like non-curated arguments. And then after computing results, I going to store in a key. The key is called 5. The 5 factorial value is 120. In my memory, it will store like this. 5 factorial is 120. And then 4 factorial is 24. And then 3 factorial is going to be 6. Now 5 is a key, 120 is a value, 4 is a key, 24 is a value, 3 is a key, 6 is a value. Like this is going to store in the memory. If the result is not present in memory, then you have to compute. And then what I have to do, yeah, that's it. In case use on else block, I going to print key is not present in memory. Key is not present in memory. Sorry, key is present in memory. Key is present in memory. Key is present in memory. If key is not present, if that key is not, arguments means key actually. Okay, it's not present in memory, then you're going to compute and store the results in the memory. If it's present in memory, what I going to do? I going to return. What I going to return? Self dot self nothing but instance memory, and then I want to pass a key. Now which one is a key? Arguments. What are the arguments you're passing, right? If you pass 5, 5 is going to be key. Okay. Whatever you are passing here, you're going to check the value in memory. If not is available in memory, then you're going to compute the function and going to store the results in memory. Okay. Now memory of 5 will be 120, 4 will be 24, 3 will be 6, and 2 will be 1. And then I go if next time I'm calling the same function, it won't compute. From the memory, it will take the results. Okay. Now, what I'm going to do? I'm going to have one more function because in the call in the constructor I want to pass a method, right? Now I'm going to have one function factorial demo equal to, it's a empty dictionary. I'm going to have one function factorial of, I'm going to pass one argument called k, and then if k value is less than 2, I'm going to return 1. I'm going to return 1. If okay, if k not in factorial of demo, okay, what are the k we are giving here, right? If k is not present in this dictionary, what I'm going to do? I'm going to factorial of demo equal to k into factorial of k minus 1. Don't get confused. Like formula will be like yesterday seen, right? K into factorial of demo, it's going to, sorry, factorial, sorry, I made a mistake over here, like k into factorial of demo, k into factorial, because the recursion is going to happen if you pass the value 5 here, 5 is less than 2, okay, it's not going to return 1, it's again going to check 5 not in memory, okay, if it's not present, it's going to compute this calculations 5 into factorial of 5 minus 1, 5 minus 1 value is 4, again it's going to call the same function, and then it's going to check 4 less than 2, and then if 4 not in factorial demo, again it's going to compute 5 into 4 will be 20, and then into factorial of 4 minus 1 3, again it's going to call the function, so recursion is going to happen, recursion is going to happen, okay. Now I have and then what I going to do, I want to use the 10 statement, I want this return statement, return of factorial of demo, and then I want to return the key. Okay, if we pass 5, it's going to see the dictionary. If 5 is present, it's going to give the results. For example, I'm going to have like this: 5 is a key, 120 is a value. If someone calls a method and pass the key value is 5, what will happen? It's going to compute all the results, and then finally going to the factorial of demo 5 will be 120. So far it's going to be the empty dictionary. Okay, let it be. And then what we can do, we have implemented a class, and then we have here one constructor, and then we have one call method, and then we have written a one recursion function. Function name is factorial, and then we're doing a recursion. Now what we can do, okay, what we have to do, okay, 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 let it be. Now for this class, how will you create an object? For this class, what's the class name actually? Class name is Memoiz. How will you create an object? Using? See, this one is entirely different actually. Okay, I'm not going to use any py syntax. Okay, now I'm asking how to create an object for a particular class. Yeah, you should have an instance. Y, take some value, y equal to, and then class name Memoiz, and then you have, and then you should be you should call it constructor, okay, and then you explicitly mention constructor. In the constructor, what you have to pass, what you have to pass, function as an argument. Now I going to substitute factorial as an argument to the constructor. Now you can mention like this: memo is off, because whenever you use this bracket, what will happen? It's implicitly it's going to call the constructor, but explicitly I mentioned the constructor here, right? Now in the constructor, no need to pass a parameter for self, because self is nothing but instance. No need to pass for self. For function, you have to pass. I going to pass this function as an parameter to the my constructor. Now what you can do, memo is of factorial. Now you created the object for this particular class. Okay, now what you going to do, just you have to print statement. argument, print the value of y. Let's see what happens. Print the value of y. It's going to give the memory address. Now, if I want to substitute the value for k, I want to use variable as a function. Now I'm going to pass 5. If you pass 5, what will happen? You are passing function as an parameter to this constructor. Okay. Now, if you use y of 5, directly it's going to call this method. That's the use of beauty of this call method. Okay. See here, if you use y of 5, directly it's going to call the magic methods. Okay. And then in the magic methods, you're going to pass the argument values. What's argument value now? 5. Go and check whether the 5 is present in memory or not. If it's not present in memory, it's going to call this factorial function and going to compute all the results and then going to store the results in the memory. Now the memory dictionary, actually memory of 5 value will be 120. Okay, now let's see. Now you got the results as 120. Now for your understanding, what I'm going to do, I'm going to have one print message. We can give. Okay. Results is saved in memory. Okay. If I run the script, it's printing like results is saved in memory. If I call the function again, call the same function y of 5, from the memory, it will take the results. From the memory, it will take the results. It won't do any computation. It won't call this factorial of function directly come to the else block, because already 5 is present in memory, right? Directly come to the else block and then it's going to return like from you're going to pass the argument is 5 from memory. Already 5 value will be 120. That's what it's saying, like keys from memory is 120. This is how you have to implement the decorators using class. If it is a normal function, what you will do? You will write an enclosing function. Inside enclosing function, you should have one wrapper function, and then you will use one py syntax. And then through py syntax, you will pass function as a parameter to another function, and then directly you can call the decorator function. This is how it happens. But this is how you have to implement using class. Now I'm going to discuss about the call method now. Hold a minute.
This conference will now be recorded.
Now we're going to see the special method called the call method. You're going to see it's one of special method that allows an object to be called like a function. It's one of the callable object. It's one of the callable object. Whenever you are creating some instance, see, for this class I created the object. If you are creating an object, you can make that object as a callable object. அப்படின்னா என்ன அர்த்தம் அப்படின்னா நீங்க if you are creating any object, you can call that corresponding object. Okay, you can use the call method. Once you started using creating object, directly going to call the call method, and then after passing the value of 5, this 5 will be substituted in the arguments in a parameter as a parameter. That's the use of call function. Okay, now we're going to see another topic. Before switching to another topic, I'm going to have one more py file, decorator_12. decorator underscore 12. Now I'm going to show how to pass how to pass a parameter to the decorators. How to pass a parameter to the decorators. Okay, now I'm going to pass two parameters. One is a non-keyword arguments as well as another one is keyword arguments. One is non-keyword arguments, another one is keyword arguments. Now I'm not going to use any class. I'm going to use only functions as of now. I'm going to have one enclosing function like decorator, enclosed function decorator. I'm going to get non-keyword arguments. Okay, for non-keyword arguments, what do you do? You have to use single asterisk. You can get as a list, you can get as a number. Okay, and then I'm going to get the keyword arguments. You can get only dictionaries. You can get only dictionaries. See, you can give any name. Okay, you can give like any name. Underscore 2, underscore 1. You can give any name. But if you are using double asterisk, it's going to be a keyword arguments. If you are using single asterisk, it's going to be a non-keyword arguments. Okay, fine. Now I'm going to have one print function inside decorator. And then I should have one wrapper function. Wrapper function. And then I'm going to have a function as an argument to my wrapper function. And then I'm going to have one more print statement inside wrapper function. Okay, and then wrapper function. Before implementing decorators, I want to say a few things to you. What I'm going to do, I'm going to do a simple implementation. I'm going to have one list. I'm going to have one list. Okay. From the list, I'm going to calculate the frequency. 1 is present how many times? 4 times. 2 is presented 4 times. 3 is presented 1 times. I'm going to do this program using decorators. Okay. And then 4 is not present, right? 4 is not present. 5 is 1 times present. 6 is present 1 times, and then 7 is present 1 times. This is what I am looking for. And then you already know, though it's a non-keyword arguments, you can pass a list, you can pass a number, anything you can pass. Okay, because you don't, in non-keyword arguments, you don't know what parameter you have to pass. Sometimes you'll pass 10 size of list is 10. Tomorrow I'm going to pass the size of list to 20 or 30. I don't know what size of list I'm going to pass. That is called the non-keyword arguments. You can use list, you can use string also, you can use. Okay, for non-keyword arguments, you can pass only dictionaries. Key and value per se you have to pass. Okay, let it be. Now, what I'm going to do, I'm going to have, leave these things. I'm going to have one function. The function name I'm going to have like def of count frequency, count frequency, and then in the count frequency, I'm going to have one list as an argument, and then I'm going to return list. What are the list I'm getting? I'm going to return the list. Okay, let it be. Now I'm going to use py syntax at the rate of, I want to use the enclosing function name decorators. In the decorators, what I have to pass? I want to pass the arguments, right? I want to pass the arguments, non-keyword arguments or keyword arguments I want to pass. Now, what I going to do in the decorator function itself, you can pass the arguments. Okay. Now, what I going to do? 1 comma, and then 5 comma 5 comma, and then 3 comma 1, and then 1 comma 4 comma 4 comma 4 4 4, and then 2 2 2. Okay. Now I pass the non-keyword arguments. Next I want to pass keyword arguments. Keyword arguments, you know already, it's dictionaries. You want to pass key and value pairs. Now I going to pass like what key I can pass? Apple. The key value will be red, right? Value will be red. Apple is a key and value will be red. Now what I going to do? This is my decorator function. Inside decorator function we have one wrapper function. Now without touching my old object, I going to write the new functionality, that is nothing but decorators. Let's see what I going to do. What I going to do in a sense, I going to have one print statement. In the print statement, I want to know the color of an apple. I want to know the color of an I can say like I want to know the color of an apple. Okay. Like you comma keyworded arguments. Okay, keyworded arguments. Okay, I want to mistakenly did underscore. Okay, let's make keyword arguments. In that I want to pass the key. What key are you going to pass? I'm going to pass apple. Okay, that's it. Now what I'm going to do? I'm going to call my function. In the wrapper function, I pass function as an parameter to my wrapper function. Now what I'm going to do? I'm going to have one variable called z equal to function of what a function name now? Count frequency function name. Count frequency is the function name. Okay, just substitute wherever getting func, right? You have to substitute count frequency. In the count frequency, what do I want to pass? I want to pass a list, right? I want to pass a list. For list, I'm going to pass non-keyworded arguments. Whatever you have given the argument, right, in decorators, it's nothing but a non-keyword arguments. It's non-keyword argument substitute was here, and then I'm going to and then it's going to return the same list actually, because the return statement given as my list, right? It's going to return the same list. After that, what I'm going to do? I'm going to implement my new functionalities. Till now, it's the existing functionality. Till now, it's my existing functionality. I'm going to derive a new functionality by reusing my old functionality. What I'm going to do? I'm going to have count the frequency, right? For that, I have a one empty dictionary, and then I'm going to use a for loop. Like I'm going to want to have an iteral variable in whatever results I have in z, right? Whatever results I have in z, just I'm going to iterate the values one by one. Like first I'll take one, and then I'll take another one, and take another one, and then 5 5, and then I'll keep on iterating the values one by one. Okay, because the z variable holds the values of the entire list, because it's returning the my list, right? So it is going to contain the list. Now, and then I'm going to have one if condition. If item in z, item in z, sorry, okay, if item in frequency, sorry, if item in frequency, what I'm going to do? Frequency of, now the key will be item, and then plus equal to 1. What will happen? First you'll take the 1, and then now this iterable variable contains value item equal 1, and then checking 1 is present in the frequency or not. Now in frequency we have empty dictionary, right? So 1 is not present. Now what I going to do? Now the key value is 1. For key value 1, I going to add 1. Key value is 1. Now the value is 1. And then I going to iterate the next one now. Okay, I going to iterate the next one now. Now the item also contains the 1. And then you're going to check this 1 is present in frequency or not. Yeah, already 1 is present in frequency. Now what I'm going to do? Again, I'm going to, for this 1 key, I'm going to increment one more 1. Now 1 will be 2. And then third, I'm going to take this 1 through iter variable. This item contains 1 now. Now we go and check this 1 is present frequency or not. Yeah, this 1 is present frequency. Okay, this is present frequency. Now what I'm going to do? Frequency of for the one key. What I'm going to do? I'm going to add one more 1. Now what will happen? For key 1, it's presented 3 times. Next, I'm going to iterate this value of 5 and then using for loop, and then now the item contains 5, and then you're going to check that 5 is present in frequency or not. Now as of now 5 key is not present in the frequency. Now what are you going to do? For frequency of 5 plus equal to 1. Now in the dictionary what you're going to do? 5 is a key, it's present only one time, and then you're going to iterate the next 5. What will happen? This item is going to contain the value of 5, and then you go and check that 5 is present dictionary or not. Now it's 5 is present. Okay. Now what you going to do? Sorry. Now present in the frequency. What you going to do? You're going to add the plus 1. See, I'm confusing you a little bit. What I have to do, right? I have to write one more else block. Hold a minute. Else block, frequency of item equal to 1. Now take the remove all the stuffs. Take the 1. Now this item will hold the value as 1. Now we're going to check the 1 is present frequency or not. 1 is present in the frequency or not. Now the 1 is not present frequency. It come to the else block. Now frequency of 1, key value is 1, right? For 1 key value, 1 is the value. Now you're going to place for key 1, value is 1. Now next you're going to iterate the another 1. Now this item going to contain 1 again, and then you're going to check if the 1 is present in the frequency or not. Yeah, it's present in the frequency. Now what you're going to do? For the 1 key, you're going to add one more 1. Okay, now the 1 value is going to be 2, and then take another 1. Now this item contains 1, right? And then go and check that 1 is present frequency or not. Yeah, the key is 1 is present frequency, and then the frequency of item will be incremented one more times. Now the 1 value will be 3. Key is 1, value is going to be 3. Now next iteration you are going to take the 5. Now this iterable variable item contains 5. Now we go and check 5 is present frequency or not. Now 5 is not present frequency. It's come to the else block, and then frequency of item. Now we go and substitute 5 over here. Now 5 value is 1. 5 value is 1. Is a key, 1 is the value. Again you're going to iterate the another 5, and then the item contains the value of 5, and then go check the frequency. Yeah, it's present in the dictionary, and then you're going to make increment of 1. Now the frequency is going to be 2. Like this, I'm going to count the frequency. I'm going to count the frequency. Okay. Now the last step I'm going to do, after doing all the steps, I want to print all those values. What I can do? I need key and value, you use membership operator. Membership operator. Now this frequency is a dictionary, right? From the dictionary, I want to split key and values. Use frequency dot items. What the items will do, it will split in terms of key and value. Now this keys will contains only keys, the value variable contains only the values. And then I'm going to use the print statement. I'm going to do the some formatting. T is going to be an integer, that's why using percentage D. And then L is going also going to integer, that's why again using percentage D. And then use a modulo operator for string formatting. You can pass key comma value, key comma value. Okay, and then come out of this for loop. What I going to do, return key comma value. If you are not using any print statement, okay, if you are not using any, if no need of print statement, what you can do, you can use pass. Okay, you can use pass. This item is going to give the key and values. Okay, whoever calls this wrapper function, it's going to give the key and value. This, okay, and then use one more return statement. Call this wrapper function. Call this wrapper function. That's it. Let it be. Now I passed argument to my decorators. Argument to my decorators. Okay. No need to call this method because a decorator says what you did. I pass as an argument. It's a non-queued arguments, and then this is going to queued arguments. Just right click and run directly. Just right click and then you can run. Why it's not printing? Okay, okay, okay. What I did here is I use pass statement, right? What I can do, hold a minute. Just right click and run. Just right click and then run. What happened? Okay, okay, okay. And then you have to use one more return statement and then you have to call the wrapper function. That's it. You got the results. I want to know the color of the apple, and then for your key arguments, you got the values red, and then I added the new functionality. For the new functionality, I call the results. 1% 5 times, 5% 2 times, 3% 1 times, 4% 3 times, 2% 3 times. This is how you can pass parameters to the decorators. This is how we can pass the parameters to the decorators. Any doubts? There is another way to call the decorators. Okay, you can able to you can call this method. You can call this method, and then you can store a variable, and you can call those variables. Okay, this is how you can able to achieve. Now I'm going to show one more example how to pass here arguments to the decorators. How to pass a parameter to the decorators. One more example is decorator underscore 13. Okay, now I'm going to have one more decorator function. See, what I'm going to do here is I'm going to write a new functionality. If the data type is a string type, I'm going to do the concatenation. If my data type is integer, I'm going to add the numbers. This is what I'm going to do in the decorators. If it's string object, string type, I'm going to concatenate. If it's a int type, I'm going to add all those numbers. What are present in the list, I'm going to add all those numbers. Okay. For that, I'm going to use a decorator function. In the decorator function, I'm going to pass three parameters. First one is the data type. First one is going to the data type. If it's string object, it has to concatenate. If it's an int type, it has to add all those numbers. And then I'm going to pass message 1. I'm going to have message 2. And then I'm going to have one more wrapper function. And then I can keep the name as wrapper function. You can keep any other name. It's up to your thing. In the wrapper function, I'm going to pass function as an argument. And then I'm going to print the message 1. Message 1. Now I'm going to have one more nested function. I can keep like wrapper function of 1, wrapper function of 2. Okay, wrapper function of 2, wrapper function of 2. What we can keep, wrapper function of 2. Okay, in that I'm going to pass the non-keyword arguments as well as keyword arguments. Totally, how many functions we have? I have one decorator function. Inside I have one wrapper function. Inside one wrapper function, I have one more wrapper function. And then I'm going to print the message to the next question. I have message 2, right? Printing message 2, and then I'm going to have one if condition. Okay, I'm going to use all condition. Okay, in the all condition, I'm going to say what I'm going to do. I'm going to have the list comprehension. If my type of argument, list comprehension actually, if my type of argument equal to data type, equal to data type. Okay, if it's a data type, what I can do, I can for list comprehension, what I have to use? I have to use a for loop for argument in arguments. Now argument is a iterable variable. Argument is a iterable variable. And then what you can do, like you can use colon, and then I can return my function. I can return my function of arguments and then keyword arguments. And then I'm going to, if the condition is not satisfied, if the condition is not, if the condition is satisfied, what are the data type you have passed? That's going to be a invalid input. Apart from int, apart from string, apart from float, if you pass any values, it's going to give invalid inputs. Invalid inputs. And then what I'm going to do, I'm going to return the wrapper function of 2 for For the wrapper function, it's going to call the wrapper function of 2. If someone calls a decorator function, it has to return the wrapper function. For that, you have to use one more run statement, wrapper of function, wrapper of function. Okay, that's fine. Now, these are the new functionalities I have written. Now, what I'm going to do, I'm going to have one existing function object. I'm going to have method. I'm going to do the string join. If it's data type string, I'm going to do the joins actually. I'm going to use the non-keyword arguments, and then I'm going to mention the variable st equal to it's a empty string actually, and then I'm going to have one for loop for I in arguments. What are the arguments that are passing, right? I'm going to iterate the values one by one. So I'm going to pass only the string arguments. Now I'm going to do st equal to st plus I. Okay, now I'm going to do the concatenation. If you're passing the string arguments, I'm going to do the concatenation of the each strings, each words. I'm going to do the string concatenation. And then if someone calls this method, I have to return st. After concatenating, I'm going to show the results in the st variable. That's why I'm returning st. And then this for string joining. If I do for summation, I should have another method, right? By doing some summation. Summation means if it's an integer, I want to add all the numbers. For that, I'm going to have one more function called summation. In that, I'm going to pass the non-keyworded arguments. You can pass a list, you can pass a float, you can pass double, you can pass numbers as well. Okay. And then I'm going to keep sum equal to 0. Again, the same for loop. What I can do, going to do is I'm going to have like I in arguments. I'm going to add the value sum equal to sum plus I, and then I'm going to return some value. After adding all those values, I'm going to return sum. Now your client saying to you, these are the old objects. Old objects means old functions. Don't touch this function. Using this function, what you have to do, create your new function. Without touching your old function, you create a new function as per the requirements. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to pass this function as a parameter to my wrapper function. Now you can use a py syntax at the rate of, what I have to use, at the rate of decorator function. Already you know, in the decorator function, how many parameters you have to pass? You have to pass the 3 parameters. You have to pass the 3 parameters, right? Yeah, you have to pass the 3 parameters. First one, what you have to pass? You have to pass a data type. Second parameter, you have to pass a message 1. Third parameter, you have to pass message 2. Okay. Now, in the decorator function itself, I'm going to pass a parameter to my decorator function. The data type, it's going to be a string data type, str. Str means our data type will going to be string. And then the message 1, I'm going to give some meaningful message. I can give like decorator for string join, decorator for string join, and then third parameter I want to pass message to. I can give something like string join started, string join started. going to give the message to as a parameter to the decorator function. Okay. Now you're going to say, if I want to do the addition for my list of numbers, if I want to pass this function as a parameter to this decorator function, what I have to use? Again, I want to use its syntax decorator function. What did I have to pass? Data type pass. I'm going to add all the numbers, right? I'm going to pass the data type as int data type. Then the message, meaningful message you have to pass. I'm going to have like a decorator for summation. Decorator for summation. And then message to I'm going to pass summation started. Calculation of sum you can give. Calculation of sum as started. Okay, now everything is fine. Everything is fine. Now I'm going to run my program. Let's see what happens. It's giving for decorator for string join because it's printing the message actually. Okay, because I'm passing this function parameter to the function, it's printing only decorator for string join, and then I'm passing this function as a parameter to this function. It's printing like decorator for summation. But if I want to if I want to if I pass arguments as well as keyed arguments, then only it will compute the results. Inside the wrapper function, I have one more wrapper function of 2. For this wrapper function, I want to pass. What do I have to pass? I want to pass some values, then only it will compute the results. Otherwise, it will print only messages. The message is printing is decorator for string join. For this method, it's printing for decorator for summation. It's not going inside the method. What you have to do, it's very simple. You can use one print statement. You can use one print statement, and then what you can do in the string join, you have to pass the arguments. Call this method string join inside the print statement, and then you want to pass the non-keyworded arguments. What I'm going to do here is I'm going to pass I like chat GPT. I like chat GPT, and then Google bot. Google, I like chat GPT and Google bot. It's nothing but your non-keyword arguments. Non-keyworded arguments. If I run this script, what will happen? Now, what happened? String join is ordered, and then I like chat GPT and then Google bot. It's doing the concatenation. It's doing the concatenation. Okay, what you can do for getting some space, you can leave one empty space over here. If you run this program, you can see I like chat GPT and Google bot, but I pass the argument as non-keyword arguments. Finally, it's doing concatenation. Now, if you want to do summation, what I have to do? You can call the summation method. In summation method, what you have to pass? You want to pass the values, and pass like values. You can pass 1, 2, 5, 6, 90, and then 78, and then 67. It's giving the result as 249. Okay, This is how you can pass parameter to your decorator functions. I did a simple thing. Inside the wrapper function, I checking for type. What are the data types I given in the decorator function? It will take the data type and then check for the argument. If the argument is string argument, if both are same, then it's going to call the string join function. If my data type is int, then it's going to call the which function? Summation function. This is how it will works. If you pass other than int or float or double or string, it will give invalid inputs. I'm signing off this session.